that they love Final Fantasy.
That doesn't surprise me too much. Most of it is probably people who haven't played Final Fantasy VIII in like the 2 decades or so that it's been since it came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was 1998, so it's been over 2 decades now. That game was actually, I think during its launch period, still the best-selling Final Fantasy. It sold better than 7 did, mostly off of the hype of 7.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And a lot of people like their edgy Squall character.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm glad they renamed Leon in Kingdom Hearts, because Squall is a pretty stupid name. Like, some people think Cloud's a stupid name. Squall is a dumber name, because while it still has like a weather formation thing attached to it, it's like, just say the word squall. It sounds like some sound you expect to come out of a quail while you're hunting it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh. I don't get it.
Well, I mentioned I did an unboxing.
Yeah?
Earlier. Here's a preview. Ta-da-da.
Hey! It is a frog who may or may not be made of cybernetic parts.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You'll have to check out my channel later once I finish the thumbnail. It's actually uploaded, but
yeah.
Once I finish the thumbnail later, I'll make it live.
Make it live.
And also a couple of interesting comic books.
Oh. Ho. Comic books.
Actually, you want to see one of them?
Sure. Comic books are always good. Well,
I think you'll
I would say they're always good. I was disappointed by Florida Man a lot, but comic books are usually good. Hey, Vestry.
Ta-da.
Which one is that?
Vest number 3.
Number 3? I still only have number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure I backed one of them on Kickstarter that wasn't number 1. I don't know if it ever made it to me. Or if I ever got it. Yeah.
Should DM English Nachos. I'm sure he'll straighten it out for you. Yeah, Vestry number 3 came.
If I did,
I'm a little disappointed
it may have
that
never
they
went through. I need to double check.
They did the same exact back cover. Come on, guys.
If it never went through, I wonder if they'll just let me send them money for number 2 and 3. I'm sure they had to have some extras.
Yeah, or just wait till 4 comes out, and you'll probably have the option to get.
Yeah.
The other ones.
Because I know right now the only one sitting next to me is number 1. It's like, I do like both those guys, and the story's pretty good, so I kind of want to continue reading it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So there. I've ruined the unboxing. Now you know what I'm going to be unboxing.
That's okay. Most of the people that will engage in the show are only listening anyway, so they didn't even see the fuck you did. They only heard our words about it.
True.
They can go over to Marsupial Gamer's channel later on. It'll be up like what, today? After you're done with the thumbnail?
Tonight after the show, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're catching this later on, this will be up sometime before midnight Central Time. By the time you hear this, it'll already be up.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I would save this for tomorrow, but we don't do shows on Sundays. So, iha hana gwit, so happy Halloween in Irish to all of you guys. And welcome to the Vomitorium, number 103. As always, I'm your host, The Metal, and joining me is my co-host, Marsupial Gamer. How you doing today?
Great. I drove to my mom's cabin today. She needed some new pine straw for the cabin, I guess.
I didn't even know your mom had a cabin. That's cool.
Yeah, she has a lake, like a lake cabin. She needed new pine straw for the what do you call it? The grounds, I guess, was looking rather bare, and so she recruited my truck. We're carrying a bunch of bales of pine straw. So I did a lot of driving. It's like an hour and a half away. So.
See, if I had a lake cabin, nobody would ever see me. like ever. You know what they would get? They would like monthly uploads of when I come into town to use the internet to just dump all the stuff I was working on during the month, and then I'd disappear again.
She has decent internet there.
At the cabin. Whoa, cool. You still probably wouldn't see me.
Yeah. But she has like a boat and everything. She has, it's like it's on a. Well, I think it's called a lake, but it looks more like a river. It's a very long lake.
Yeah.
But she's got, a dock there with a boat, like a pontoon
kind of weird
boat
too, right? Like
kayaks.
The Mississippi River at its widest almost looks like a lake.
Yeah.
Because I think at its widest, it's like 13 miles wide, and you're like, how is this a river?
Yeah. Well, this lake is far narrower than that river.
Yeah. Like if you weren't following it, or you didn't know you were crossing the Mississippi, and you saw that, like, it might even be 16, but you saw that many miled wide part of the Mississippi, you're like, yeah, that's a nice lake right there.
I think it has like a start and an end,
Yeah.
Like the water actually moves constantly.
Yeah.
Whereas this lake, it doesn't. It also moves. I mean, obviously, well, there's rivers that come out of it and rivers that go into it, but
it's like a junction point,
right? Even though it's kind of windy like a river, but it's considered a lake for whatever reason. It's just an oddly shaped lake. But yeah,
I have an oddly shaped lake next to my area, but that's probably because it's man-made. And you're trying to like work with the curvature of the land because it's already hard enough to dig up a lake as it is.
Yeah, I think this one's man-made too because the entrance, where the water comes in, is actually a dam, and that's where
that makes sense,
I guess
yeah.
a lot of this area gets hydroelectric power from there, and then
So they basically just made a deposit for the dam. That happens from time to time, yeah.
Yeah. It might have been a river. I don't know. I don't know the history of it, but I'm pretty sure it's basically man-made, or water got diverted from somewhere. So, but anyway, yeah. So I just went up there, dropped the pine straw off. I didn't actually do the spreading. I think she's gonna hire someone to spread it somewhere, and then hey, she bought me lunch, and then I came back.
That's good.
So good, except I got kind of scratched up. That pine straw is really sharp. It's very popular in Alabama.
You know what Malin and I always say: a man shouldn't have a soft spot anywhere on their body. So scratched up hands, that's just appropriate.
Yeah, it's apparently it's far more popular around here for landscaping than, say, mulch. Like it's basically what they use for mulch around here. Probably because there's just a ton of pine trees everywhere.
Yeah, that's how it is over here. I remember I got into, I think I brought this up before, I got into an argument, I guess, a light argument, more if I was making fun of the guy. It was a dude I used to know, and he was complaining that the area I live in is called Cedar Hill. And even on our flag, there is a cedar tree. And he's like, we're called Cedar Hill, but I've never seen a cedar tree anywhere in this city. All I've seen are juniper trees. And I'm like, are you retarded? There is no actual tree called a cedar tree. It is a nickname for a juniper tree.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the closest thing to like cedar that you're going to actually find is cedar mountain grass. But if anybody refers to a cedar tree or cedar wood, it comes from a juniper. It is a nickname for it. Juniper is the official classification for the tree.
Oh.
If you see those cedar pines, it's a juniper tree.
Interesting. Oh, yeah, look at that. What do you know? You're right.
Yeah.
Who knew you'd know something like that?
And I was laughing at him for like a good like half day because of that too. It was like, yeah, no, they're everywhere. That's why they call it Cedar Hill.
I mean, I would assume if it's called Cedar Hill, there'd be cedar trees.
Yeah.
But I mean, what did he think a cedar tree was?
I don't know. I think he thought it was like this weird cartoonish pine tree. Though, I mean, juniper trees are pretty cartoonish to begin with, so...
Yeah.
I'm just gonna draw a zigzag Christmas tree right in the real world that's standing there.
Is it like a Dr. Seuss Christmas tree?
Maybe. Yeah. It's so tall that it's starting to bend back over. Not even inside, just outside. It's so tall it's bending back over.
Well, I was born right near here in a place called Mountain Brook, and I can confirm that there is both a mountain and probably many brooks.
That's good.
In Mountain Brook.
It's really
just
weird,
FYI.
like, what the definition of a mountain is. Because there's some things that, like, you look at it and it's very, very, very clearly a mountain. There's no way you would say that isn't a mountain. But then there's some things you're like, pretty sure that's just a big hill. But they're calling it a mountain anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not very big, but there is in Birmingham, there is a mountain called Red Mountain. Elevation is 1,000 feet.
Above sea level or above the city?
No.
Well, think about it. This is why, like, my contention is. Because we've got some pretty big hills on top of my area. But also, the area that I'm in is called Cedar Hill. And the reason for that is because it's one of the highest elevations in all of Texas. That's why we have... like the cell phone and radio towers and stuff here, right?
Yeah.
But then we also have some hills that their elevation is really fucking high if you were to take it to sea level. But we only call them hills because they're barely above the city. Like, you could walk up them if you wanted to. It would be a little effort, but you could just walk up them.
So the elevation of Birmingham is approximately 600 feet. So I guess the mountain is only 400 additional feet.
Yeah. That's where I'm getting, like, 400 feet. Would you... I guess that's a small mountain, you know? But it's less impressive than you think after you compare it to the surrounding area.
Yeah. I mean, it would be a challenge to scale it. It's pretty sheer. But it's pretty steep. But I don't know what the difference is between a mountain and a hill.
Yeah, I don't know, really, because like a hill can start from anywhere from, I guess, like 3 feet. I guess that's kind of like when you start recognizing that something's kind of a hill, but then it could go up to like 100 feet as long as it's sloped enough.
Apparently, there is no official difference between a hill and a mountain.
Yeah,
but generally speaking, a mountain just is steeper. Usually higher, but not always.
That's it. It's just all perception. I think that's more of a mountain than a hill.
Yeah. I think it's the steepness, really.
Yeah, at least like a plateau or a mesa is kind of easy to tell because they've got like very specific shapes to them.
Yeah. But I would say most mesas are just a type of mountain.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Right?
Yeah. It's just a mountain with a very specific shape. It's like it's hard to confuse it for other types of mountains.
Yeah.
I guess the difference between a mountain and a hill then is like a mountain has a sharp top. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Hills are more round.
Yeah. It's so. So I did think of a particular game related story because you said you had a bunch of stories, but I don't.
Yeah, I got some stuff piled up, but you can take whatever you want.
You want me to mention the one that I found, the one that I knew about as of yesterday? I believe I saw this, and I just remembered. No wait, never mind. You go. You shared it with me.
You never mind.
I'm not going to take credit because you shared it with me.
I don't even remember what I shared.
It's just somebody else shared it with me later, like today.
Was it the thing I tweeted at you last night?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I don't
You
even
want me to
remember
read
what
it?
that was. Yeah.
Sony censors. I was like, wait a minute. No, you shared it with me. Sony censors 20 ladies game characters replaced with bunnies.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Sony's a fucking joke, man.
What's funny is that the reason I thought of it again was because it was brought up on a news show that I watched that was like talking about how ridiculous the censor, like a show that doesn't usually talk about video games.
Yeah. So I guess to set it up, Sony for the last few years have been kind of ridiculous when it comes to censorship, and anybody who follows the show would know this. I go kind of hard on Sony because they fucking deserve it. And for some reason, Nintendo has decided, hey, we don't give a shit. Just rate things properly so that kids don't end up getting the wrong games. And there's this game. I forget the name of the company. It says it in the article. But they do games like this all the time, usually puzzle games involving scantily to naked women.
Well, this is appropriate. It's called East Asia Soft.
Okay, East Asia Soft.
That sounds like straight out of 1984, right?
Yeah. So, like, they make a lot of games like this, and the game that they're putting out is called 20 Ladies, where you solve puzzles and you earn pictures of scantily clad to naked women. And that's your reward. It's like almost like desktop wallpaper looking things. I'm sure if you get the PC version, you could even use it as a desktop wallpaper. Hell, you could probably use the snapshot function on the Switch. I doubt they'll let you post it, but you could transfer it to your phone and use that as a wallpaper if you want anyway, because it'll just be like a full screen image.
Apparently it's a platformer, but I guess like a puzzle platform.
Yeah, the puzzle-based platformer, yeah. And by completing the levels, you get these women that are naked. And
well, some of them are.
Yeah, not all of them are. Those are probably like
But
the final levels and stuff, the real tease stuff for you to get.
Yeah.
You know,
It does say on the Nintendo Switch version, there's nudity.
Yeah, it is properly rated, so Nintendo doesn't care. Sony, on the other hand, even though like this was the thing, I remember laughing about this in the DMs. Sony back in the day used to be the like console, like PlayStation was the console where adults went to. They were the mature place. Nintendo was for kids.
Yeah, Call of Duty, all that.
Even before
Serious
that, like
games.
again, Tomb Raider, which isn't necessarily a mature game, but it's more mature with the themes and stuff that it's handling. Like a kid wouldn't appreciate this game and stuff like that. They've always, the RPGs with like, we're going to go kill God and stuff, they were always the edgy and mature console.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're like, hey, you, no nudity on our console. I don't care if it's rated property. No sex, unless it's guy on guy or by Naughty Dog or something, then it's okay. But no sex, no nudity, nothing. You're not allowed to be edgy on PlayStation anymore. So they had to change it, completely changing like all of the victory designs, the people you're saving, to 20 bunnies.
At least the gameplay is the same, but
yeah. Now. Sorry if I sound weird. I'm very congested right now. But to me, this has to be a joke. Like the reason they decided to do this, because they seriously could have just added more clothes to like every single woman that was involved, and probably solved the same thing. Like this has to be an FU to Sony. Like the reason they did it this way. But I think this is even more degenerate. Because while they're not sexy in nature, now you're saving furries.
Yeah. Yes, they're clearly female bunnies wearing skirts and such.
And as everybody knows, especially because of Playboy, and also just because rabbits fuck like crazy, rabbits are associated with sex. So I think this is actually the most degenerate version of the game, and you should just go on to like Nintendo, or it's probably going to be on Steam or something, and get 20 ladies instead. Fuck Sony.
Yeah. What's funny is like, I wonder if they were like, well, if we can't appeal to the male gaze, we're gonna appeal to the most degenerate community we can possibly think of, and that, of course, would be furries.
Appealing to the autistic kids
No
in the
offense.
back of the classroom.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ooh, sexy bunny ladies. Oh, sigh.
I don't know what is up with Sony, other than the fact that it's in California.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know. It is odd though that Nintendo's like, oh yeah. I mean, there are like explicitly hentai games on the Switch.
Yeah, and they're rated M, as they should be.
Because they're just like, yeah, they're just like, whatever. Trying to make an hentai game? Go ahead. We'll just age gate it. Oh, okay. I mean, just like Steam. Steam, usually, for the most part, is not about, censorship.
For the most part, yeah. Steam has its problems too, but it's nowhere near as bad as Sony or Microsoft is, and even Microsoft's not as bad as Sony.
Yeah, is this going to launch on Xbox?
I don't know. I'm actually wondering how much Sony set it back. So we've talked about this before too. Sony has like a 6-month long approval process for getting onto their their network for you to sell your games. And that already pushes back like global launches when you want to release everything on the same platform on every platform at once. But like the fact that they had to go back and change the game makes me think that they applied for approval with the base game first and then had to do like a quick change where they replaced the models and stuff to seek approval. And I'm wondering how long that actually pushed back the launch of their game.
Yeah, because I mean, it's launching, I think, on the same day or close to the same day.
Yeah.
On both platforms. Although I wonder if they only applied to Sony at first, and then after they got rejected, then applied to the Switch. I don't know.
No, I'm sure because most people are doing that now. Even Xbox, like the Live Arcade and stuff, it takes so little time to get on there that most people will apply for Sony, and then once they're approved on PlayStation and have like an okay date, then they'll go apply everywhere else because it's easier to just get onto the okay date.
Yeah.
Personally, I just wouldn't apply to be on Sony. Like, I know that like the more people who can buy your game, the better in general, but Sony's making it so ridiculous to get on there, and almost like a statement needs to be made that like, I'm not going to jump through your stupid hoops. If your restrictions and requirements were more reasonable, then sure, I'd be willing to wait the time, but your hoops are really stupid.
Yeah, just put it on Switch and Steam.
Yeah.
You're good. You covered all bases as far
even
as...
Microsoft, like they're not even that crazy about it. Especially if you're rated M, right? So, like, oddly enough, some of these other places are more lenient on you if you're rated M, because they're like, okay, you're already at the highest rating tier, and only adults are supposed to be able to buy you anyway. There's not really, like, you don't have to do a quality check to make sure you're not an M-rated game that's labeled as T or anything like that. Most of these places are actually looser to you once you're already in that higher category. Well, like, if you are rated E or T, like, we got to check to make sure you're actually rated E or T.
Yeah. So it says, so you're saying Nintendo show what Sony won't? Something like that?
Something, I guess, yeah. It's not as catchy as Sega's catchphrase, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, now Nintendo does... Genesis.
Nintendo does everything that Sega doesn't because Sega doesn't have consoles other than their throwback machines. The Genesis is actually pretty cool. The one that you can buy in the stores that has like the single cartridge with 88 games in it because it plays normal Genesis cartridges as well.
It does?
Yeah. The 88 cartridge is just like a extended flash memory cart that has the same pin as the original Genesis cartridges. So all the games that it comes with is in a single cart, but you could take that cart out and put old Genesis games in there. It reads them.
Yeah.
I don't know where you can find those. You probably only get them on Amazon now because it's been a while since they were in stores. But I remember seeing it back in Toys R Us back before that closed down.
Can you do without me for like 5 minutes?
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, I'll be listening, but I got an important message I have to check.
An important message. Okay. Probably
Sorry,
feet pics.
It's just something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember seeing that stuff like right before Toys R Us closed down. It was pretty cool. I wanted to get one. I think I also saw it in like Walgreens or like one of those corner stores at the time. But then I remembered I don't own a single Sega Genesis cartridge, so what is this even going to do for me? I guess I could always go to Game Over and buy some. That wouldn't be too bad. But it was pretty cool. That was a while ago. When did Toys R Us shut down? Was it like 2018, 2019? I don't even remember. Let me look at this. Toys R Us closing date was... Oh, was it 2020? Wow, I thought it was earlier than that. Man, does time fly. I know it was kind of making like a comeback because like a Canadian company bought them. But I don't know.
Sorry, I'm back. Sorry about that.
It's fine. It's fine.
What are we talking about?
Sony's stupid.
Yes, indeed they are.
Yeah. That's all I got to say on that. Like they're fucking retarded.
Definitely.
I know they're trying to make like decisions to cover up how dumb they've been. Like they're trying to buy all these first-party companies and stuff. They're trying to get back into software development because they've been losing a lot in that. But every time I look at everything they're buying, it's all companies to make the same game over and over again. Just that kind of like open world, quote unquote, even though it's usually like a segmented world. That is like an action adventure game, but there's not much action to it. It's basically a walking simulator that is more story driven than anything else. That's like 90% of Sony's in-house games these days, and I don't see that changing. Like buying more studios to make more of that's not going to help you very much.
Now, you said that they put in some money for Square Enix to do the Final Fantasy VII remake,
so
right?
they do stuff like that from time to time as well. And I think 7 is one of those things that have been really floating sales. Not a lot of things have been. That and God of War, I think, are probably the two main properties. Which God of War, I think, is basically a first-party game at this point. It's, because they own Santa Monica Studios. So God of War is a first-party game. And even the new God of War, it's basically like the game I was saying. It's more action than the other ones, but it's kind of like a segmented open world that's more story-driven than gameplay. That one just happens to have more gameplay than the other ones, where you're actually fighting things and stuff. But it's nowhere near as engaging as the previous God of War games were, with like your aerial ladder combos and stuff like that.
Now, are these? If I do a search, because I don't associate anything really with Sony as being the developer, but they do actually are the publisher of a lot of stuff, like Death Stranding. Did they publish Ghost of Tsushima?
I don't know.
Apparently,
I think so.
According to Google, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Which Horizon Zero Dawn clearly falls into the category of games I was just saying, where it's supposed to be like this action adventure open world RPG.
Open world
barely has any of the elements other than story. It's
all these games that like I hear a lot about, but I have absolutely no interest in ever playing.
Yeah.
Ever.
Because everybody was like, "Oh, look, Horizon Zero Dawn. That is totally Game of the Year worthy." And I looked at the trailer, like, this just looks like generic open world RPG of the month. Like, I don't know. And the new one looks even more generic.
Sorry, I think I cut out for a minute.
You
there.
did, yeah.
And Returnal, I don't know.
I remember seeing
something
space about that, but I have no idea what the hell is going on there.
I don't either. I mean, it's always getting, the Spider-Man game and stuff like that. It's like, it looks cool. I'll watch someone play it on Twitch for 5 minutes, but then it's just like, I have zero interest in any of these games.
Yeah, like Spider-Man's probably one of the few that I would say doesn't necessarily fit in that category, but it's made by Insomniac, who also made another kind of OC superhero story, right? Like their original character. They made frickin' Infamous before with Cole McGrath, the lightning-based superhero character that had the Paragon Renegade system. And that game had mechanics, but it was boring as fuck.
Yeah.
And I mean by mechanics, like it actually had combat. It had even story-driven mechanics where you get to pick good or bad. That was the whole Paragon Renegade. Like it actually had gameplay, and you weren't just walking through a story. But it was boring. I hate the main character, and Spider-Man follows that trend a lot in general. Just sad because they're using a property that's already established.
Well, I guess these games are pretty popular, so it's not like they're going to go out of business anytime soon. But
they just, I don't know. Sony used to be very, or at least the PlayStation as a console with the library games, used to be a very dynamic library, right? Like, if I go to PS1 and PS2, you could find something interesting that was like wildly different from everything else. And I think part of it too was the game, like programming restrictions and stuff, right? Like actually making the game, how you had to design it. You didn't necessarily have all these like Unreal Engine and stuff where you could just pop things in and just run scenarios. Everybody was like making shit from scratch. Even as we get into like the computer age, most people were still making like their own engines now that we're not in assembly anymore. And everything was like wildly different. Now, half these things, like you go Assassin's Creed, there's going to be another one coming out, which good news about it. I actually have that pulled up. Where did I put it? Ubisoft says it's going to have everything that was from the older Assassin's Creed, and it won't be free to play. So they're going to give you like a full game that will probably still need to be patched to death for it to operate. But they'll give you a full game when you buy it. Yeah. But like, look at Assassin's Creed. It was kind of unique when it first came out, being kind of like this semi-open world game that you couldn't just outright kill people because you might lose if you did that. Like, you have to find sneaky ways of doing things. I wouldn't say it's super unique because I think Hitman was out before Assassin's Creed, and then Thief was out before any of those. But still, it was kind of like a unique game. And now, if you look at modern Assassin's Creed, it just looks like any open-world mission-based game. It's barely different than Grand Theft Auto because it's just become more and more plug-and-play. And they're like, oh, people like this, so let's put that in the game. I remember they started making one of the Assassin's Creeds almost like Breath of the Wild at one point with some of the things they were adding in. I'm like, why? I get the other way around because Breath of the Wild put in the towers, which is a very Assassin's Creed thing. That, like, when you thought of those towers, the first thing that comes to your mind is like, oh, this is finally Assassin's Creed is such an old enough game and staple of the gaming community that it's influencing other games. We'll climb up the tower to get our fast travels and stuff. But then it's like watering itself down to be more and more like every other game.
Yeah. I haven't had any desire to get a PlayStation since the PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't feel particularly burned by it, but I liked the PlayStation 3. I liked, frankly, all of the versions of Final Fantasy 13. And
I thought 3 was still a pretty good console, but that's about where it started, right? Like, because Little Big Planet was a PlayStation 3 game. And it's like, oh, well, at least you still have like a very solid platforming game on your system and stuff like that.
I had a pretty decent. There was a Lego game that I used to play.
Well, like even more important, Little Big Planet I think is first party, right? So let's like look at Sony itself and what they're doing with their system, as opposed to like third party people that are putting everything everywhere, right? Or even just like maybe system exclusives as well. And like they had a decent variety of games that were first party on PlayStation 3, but later into its cycle is when you start to see this trend of like all the games we're seeing on PlayStation now that look basically the same.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the games that matter, because otherwise it's like, well, if it's a game that's on every system, I'll just buy it on the other system.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I had an office in Nashville way back when. We had a PlayStation 4 in the office, and like nobody ever played it. Nobody was interested. Even I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was like, there just wasn't that much of interest on it.
That also brings up too is because a lot of people are mad about this Assassin's Creed game not being free to play, which I think is the dumbest fucking thing in the world. Somebody made a game.
Not being?
Yeah, well, because it's not that they don't want to give money. It's that now there's this greater expectation, and I kind of hate this term, but the as a service, right? There's this greater expectation for games as a service, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think some games, like an MMO or certain things, can work great as a service. We've talked about this before too, having like a free-to-play route where you can sell people only what they want, and some people will spend more than others. In fact, some people will spend more than what you would have gotten if you sold it to them as a $60 game, and they want to. That could be fine for a lot of specific types of games and how you handle it. A lot of games don't work that way, though. Like, it's horrible to run them as a service. Like, I wouldn't want to run Mario Odyssey as a service. That would be horrible. I want the whole game right here, right now, and I just want to... If you want to sell me DLC later, sure, but...
Were people expecting Assassin's Creed to be...
Yeah, I think so.
An MMO? Is it an MMO?
No, it's not an MMO. It's just a normal standalone. I think there's some online interactivity, but...
Okay. Is it... This is a new Assassin's Creed game?
Yeah, it's the next one that's coming out, Assassin's Creed Infinity.
And I mean, the one before that surely was a AAA $60 game, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
People, for some reason, expected this one to be free.
I think in general, people are just expecting games to move into the as-a-service model, which I think in general, while it can have really good... like aspects to it, if your game is designed around it from like the get-go, is been very destructive to the gaming industry, and it's been definitely better for devs than it has been for users, I would say, on the whole, because as a service you're expected things aren't necessarily going to work as well as at start, which most games by the AAA industry haven't been doing that for a while. Like, all of them need to be patched in. But also it means that you don't have to make a whole game. You just need the framework for a game, and you can just patch in content over time, which, again, is good for the developers. And the service means that you can keep getting money funneled in to pay for this content that is being made over time. And it serves its purpose in certain games, especially like phone games are fine as a service. You can get it started. Most phone games have interactivity with a bunch of other people. You could do it as a service without it being a gacha game. I don't think these two things have to overlap, because I think gacha games are kind of probably toxic to game development in general. But like, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Console games as a service, though, I've yet to see it done well. Genshin Impact's probably close, but it's also a gacha game, and it has a lot of horrible things about it too. So I can't even say that's been done well. And it's both kind of like a console and mobile game that's primarily mobile. So even the fact that it comes close is probably because it was designed as a mobile game first.
I think I like I was looking at this story on Skyrim Anniversary Edition, which releases November 11th. And I think I like that model better. Just keep releasing, new editions. What was the last? The Special Edition, Deluxe Edition, Anniversary Edition.
Yeah,
with more and more content.
Skyrim's been released
time,
for over a decade now, I'm pretty sure. When did Skyrim come out?
Been released and released and released.
Yeah, let me look.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's the Anniversary Edition, so it's for the 10th anniversary.
Yeah, 2011. So yeah, we've hit a whole decade as soon as November 11th hits and that Anniversary Edition drops.
That's right. That's the point. I like that method. I mean,
I don't, but I prefer it to the other method. Like if I had to compare the two.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather they release. Well, I'm a little afraid, but I'd rather they release Elder Scrolls 6. But as long as they're releasing new content for it, and I think it looks like if you have I think I have the
special edition.
What do I keep forgetting? The special edition.
Yeah.
It looks like they're releasing some of the new content for the special edition. I imagine if you want all of it, you'd have to upgrade. I don't know if there's an upgrade cost if you just have to pay like an extra $10.
So here's the funny thing. I wouldn't be surprised if you own it on PC that you get it for free. Because they often do this. When I had the original Skyrim that I only paid for $5, like a year before the special edition came out during a holiday sale. When I had the original Skyrim and the special edition came out, I got the special edition for free. It was something they only did for PC. And often that they do for PC when new editions of things come out. A lot of companies do this. When BioShock's HD versions came out, they gave it for free. Borderlands 1's HD came out, Gearbox gave it for free. It's a very common thing to do in the PC gaming market. Mostly because, they want you to be playing the most recent edition of the game, but you already bought it. The reason you'd have to buy it again on these other consoles is because the new edition was made for the next console, not because it's more powerful. But they're like, well, you still have a PC and you can upgrade that yourself, so here's the new edition. It's a very, very common thing to do. I would not be surprised if they stick with the tradition and they just give it away to people who already own it. Though, the way Bethesda's been going, I also wouldn't be surprised. Microsoft owns them now, too, that they do charge for you to buy the new one. Like, it's like a 50-50 now.
It's funny, I don't even see the Anniversary Edition on Steam. But I wonder if that's maybe it's because it is the same as the Special Edition. I don't know.
There's a good chance that they probably will not list it until it's out and they delist the last version. Because they delisted the original version of Skyrim when Special Edition came out.
Oh, I see.
Which is probably another sign that they'll probably give it to people who already own the game for free.
Yeah, because right now Special Edition's the only one there. Yeah. You can't get the original or whatever. Interesting.
And that's fine too, because usually the new content, right? Like, not the stuff that'll come with it, but if they make another DLC afterwards, that stuff you'll still have to pay for. So they have no problem giving like the base version of the game to you for you to buy the next DLC that comes out for the game.
Yeah, I wonder if they're planning on coming out with any more DLC.
Maybe, because like they said, they haven't even started on 6 yet, because that's not happening until Starfield or whatever it's freaking called is completely done.
Yeah, Starfield is set to release November 11th next year.
So I wouldn't be surprised, because it's a different team that's working on the engine and stuff like that. So if some of the devs have nothing else to do, I wouldn't be surprised if they're just making more DLC for Skyrim at this point, just to hold people over. Because a lot of people have been getting antsy and started complaining.
About Elder Scrolls 6?
Yeah.
Or Starfield?
No, I'd probably both, but I've only heard the 6 stuff.
Well,
it's been a long time. I mean, a decade since the last time.
10 years.
Yeah.
They're not under any obligation to ever come out with a
no
Elder Scrolls 6.
Well, it's not that they're not under obligation. They wouldn't be under expectation if they never put that JPEG of a logo in front of moving mountain range in the first place, right? So they kind of made a self-obligation by announcing that the game was going to exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they kind of screwed themselves there.
Yeah, it's like, I think Elder Scrolls 5 wasn't announced until like 2 years before it came out. So it's not like people have been waiting for the next one since the end of Oblivion or anything like that, because it's like, there was no announcement. They announced 6 so early comparatively. Though also late because of how long Skyrim's been running. But still, so early comparatively that they've done nothing but back themselves into a corner with it.
Yeah, it's... Because they couldn't possibly have actually been... I mean, it's not in development now, is it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a form of development, right? So the team is doing stuff from what we've heard. They just can't do any of the programming. They can't like test physics. They can't put their graphics, but they could start making textures. They could start making models. They could start writing characters and lines. Like the early parts of development they can do. They just can't do any like the hard it's soft development. They're not in hard development right now.
Yeah, they're just coming up with ideas. I'm guessing maybe.
But like you can make assets to death because computer models, like the skeletons are what matters the most in the engine, right? They can make assets to rig to skeletons in the by the time it's ready. People could be hard at work making stuff.
Yeah. Here's something interesting.
What is interesting?
Oh, wow. Apparently, they're coming out with a master line, is what they're calling it. Final Fantasy VI 1/6 scale statues.
Magic armor? Is it a magic tech? I want a magic tech armor.
Yeah.
Nice.
It is. Here, I can show you. Let's see.
I want the one from the Japanese box art, you know, where it's got like Tina draped over the Magic Tech armor.
You're getting your wish, man.
Yes.
Check this out. Here, maybe I can fast forward through.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'll just let it play. But yeah, apparently Square Enix is coming out with. There you go.
The I definitely can't
armor.
I can't afford it. I'll never get it, but I need it.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to show pricing.
Oh, but good. Yeah, Amano was involved because Yoshitaka Amano was the one who designed the Magic Tech armor and even Tina/Terra as a character in the first place.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks so
good. They're
good.
doing all this by hand. Look at that.
Oh.
Yeah, it's exactly that image.
I need
You need it.
I wonder if I can win a contest for it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Square Enix Masterline. I don't know if this is the only one they're doing right now. But look at that.
It looks
Magitech.
so good.
Oh, it even has a little Moogle.
Mug!
Yeah, I thought you might like this. There it is.
Oh, and it's on, frick, what's the city's name?
What, Narsh?
No, not Narsh. The one that Gestalt, the Empire. It's on the mechanical structure of Gestalt.
Okay.
Well, that's where the magic tech comes from.
Right. It looks pretty cool. Boy, your eyes look a little bloodshot.
She's an Esper.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's how, like, if you look at the official art, you can actually see that Amano had lined, like, the inside of her eyes is red, almost like eyeliner in a way, but it's, like, on the inside tips of the eyelids.
It's interesting. It looks like there's different versions. One where she's just pointing, one where she has the sword.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Coming soon.
It's going to cost $800.
Duh! I hope not.
Oh, you're right. I might be lowballing this.
I don't know.
I've seen how expensive these things. I might be lowballing it. Like, statues get expensive. Theirs aren't that good, but they're still cost a lot. Walk into a freaking GameStop sometime and look at the glass display that's got the statues in it. They easily cost anywhere between like $150 for the small ones to like $400, $500 for the bigger ones.
Yeah, I think you are lowballing it. So
Yeah,
they
it might
say
be like $1,300.
It says the previous figure starring the cast of Nier Automata cost $2,600.
Oh, that doesn't actually surprise me. Especially with the detail in that magic tech armor, and they're doing it by hand. That sounds reasonable. I'll never get it, but it sounds reasonable. Yeah.
Well, yeah, if they're doing it all by hand.
I'm judging my my estimate off of low-end statues you can get at GameStop, not like this high-end mainline square thing. So, yeah, no, that sounds completely reasonable.
Is it metal? Is it 3D printed? They showed them designing it, like in on a computer.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's like 3D printed.
I wouldn't be surprised if only the initial run are made by hand, so they can get it exactly right, and then they have like a printing service, like a 3D printer or whatever, and painting service do it by machine.
I don't know. If they're gonna charge fucking $2,600, it better be hand painted. Damn it.
Yeah. Hand painted stuff always looks better because no matter how good the machine is, you get like alignment errors and stuff, and then like the paint comes off, and you'll get like some skin on fabric and vice versa.
I would expect a craftsman to be, painting it and making corrections and getting it absolutely perfect.
Like if you did a light base, like spray with the machine, and then you go in and actually do all the corrections by hand, I wouldn't even mind that so much if you want to speed up the process.
Sure.
But I hate it when machines do all the work. Like look at some of the amiibos. The original line of the amiibos were all supposed to be hand painted, and you could tell, right? Like the very first ones. But some of the more recent ones, you could tell like machines have taken over because you'll start to get things where like things are awful aligned, and it's like, oh, that's not the color of that material. That's the leg touching it.
Yeah, but I mean, what do you expect when it's like $15 or whatever?
Well, also when they were running short, because I think the reason they started going machine is the demand and the scalping, right? Because it was every amiibo was sold out at first all the time. It was you were lucky to get one, and now it's like you can find them almost anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Although, good luck finding certain ones like the newest Metroid Dread one or whatever.
Oh yeah, so Metroid Dread actually kind of pissed me off a little bit, even though like it's not required to enjoy the game, but there was like a lot of stuff that was kind of like hashed off for amiibo for physical DLC, even compared to like how I was complaining about Skyward Sword. Like the actual hardest difficulty is locked behind an amiibo.
And Samus Returns.
Well, in Dread 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think I was talking to, was it maybe Patai? I was talking to somebody about this.
All amiibo unlocks. Energy tank.
You use them once per day. Some of this stuff is like just menial. Like nobody cares about like a once a day energy tank or whatever. Stuff like that I'm fine with. That's how like I didn't complain about Breath of the Wild stuff at all, except for Epona, because you could only get Epona through an amiibo, and I thought that was kind of stupid.
Yeah. I don't think you're right. I mean, you can get to the hard mode. I don't see any amiibo that gives you an even harder mode.
Because I was talking to, I think it was Pattaya, like apparently like there was supposed to be a harder mode that you only got from an amiibo. Looking for this. He might have been confused with Returns.
That was the case with Samus Returns.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what he was
But I thought that was stupid at the time.
Yeah. And I forget what they called it. It's like Eon mode or something like that.
Maybe. I don't remember the name of the mode.
Or something mode. Fusion mode.
Fusion mode. Yeah, because it gives you the fusion suit.
That's what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait. Fusion mode controls the same as however enemies will deal more damage. What? I know there was another hard mode that was locked behind, but I don't think they did that for Dread. I never heard of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember talking to somebody. I don't remember. I had an article up at the time, but I can't remember what it was. But I don't like that they're doing this shit like at all. Like again, the way they did in Breath of the Wild, where it's like, here's your time limit. You get this once per day. It's just some free bonus stuff. Maybe some like weapons and stuff. Like the weapons are all breakable, so I don't mind that like weapons are locked behind amiibo if they're just gonna break anyway. It's not like you're permanently collecting this weapon for the game or it's necessary or anything. But then like I still got pissed off at the Epona thing, because you can't unlock Epona any other way but those two amiibo, the Smash Brothers Link and the actual Link on Epona amiibo. I'm glad they at least gave it to the most popularly sold amiibo at the time, which is the Smash Brothers Link. Almost everybody had one, so that kind of made sense. But still, it's Epona. It's the Horse of Legends that you've seen in a couple different games at this point.
Yeah, but
like,
you know, Epona's been dead for 10,000 years, so
yeah. But there's a horse god that can resurrect horses. Why couldn't there be a mission where you go to the horse god and he sets you on a fetch quest to get like some like Epona's saddle, and now that you've got this artifact, it's like, okay, cool, I've got Epona's memory, let me resurrect this horse for you. Total like in-game reason that could have worked.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
Instead, they have the white princess horse or whatever.
Yeah.
It's basically the best horse in the game, I think.
And Ganon's horse, which is the tankiest horse in the game, the giant one, but it's really slow, and it doesn't have the ability to sprint at all.
Yeah. And I think Epona is actually better than the white horse.
Yes.
Of course.
Epona is actually the best horse in the game, because it's got all even stats, not the highest, but like it's one down. It's like all sixes across the board instead of like a 7 here or whatever it is.
It's all fours instead of
all fours.
The white one,
5.
I think, has 5 spurs or something like that.
Yeah, so it's even across the board, but it's also almost at the top of everything. Like even the health is like it's the second best health. So it effectively Epona's the best horse. And it's like that I cared more about than say like, oh, fast travel in Skyward Sword is locked off to an amiibo, because like Skyward Sword really doesn't need fast travel. You get everywhere fast anyway. You fly. It takes you not even a whole minute to get to the point where you dive down to the next area. Like it really doesn't.
Yeah, there's a ridiculous number of those statues, and I think they added some from the original version.
Yeah, it's like you
there's
don't
more
really
statues. You don't need it at all.
I mean, it's still kind of lame that they did that, but it's not necessary. I don't really care at the end of the day.
Yeah, there's probably a statue within eye shot of wherever you are, within view, almost anywhere.
And then they'll claim it's like, well, they're the same thing. Well, you don't care about the weapons that are locked behind Amiibo because they can break, but Epona can die. It's like, yes, but let me redirect you back to the horse god that can bring any of your horses back to life at any time as long as you have the money for it.
Plus, I've never had Epona die before, but I have been able to summon her more than once. Like, every once in a while, you'll just summon Epona again.
Yeah. Or, my brother actually lost Epona. Had to go to the horse god.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was stupid.
Yeah, but I think you can just summon her again and replace her with a new
probably,
Epona.
but he just went to the horse god.
Yeah.
He was stupid, and he was going fast across the field, Hyrule Field, and he ran past, like, 3 guardians that were chasing him, and... like, the Epona was on fire. He fell off. He had, like, 1 heart left, and he just teleported out of there. And he kept trying to call Epona, and it's like, dude, there's no Epona to call.
It's gone. You abandoned her to the Guardians. How dare you?
But I don't think, like... I don't think anything that you could say is an actual feature of a game should be locked behind physical DLC. Right.
Yeah.
So, like, the hard mode thing in Return. That should not be locked behind an amiibo or something like that.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's not that I cared all that much about playing the hard mode or fusion mode, whatever it was called, but
yeah,
for people who do want to, they shouldn't have to get a fucking amiibo for it.
Yeah. It's like when an amiibo does something cool that's, like, not necessary for 100% completion or anything, that's fine. Like, Kirby Robo Bot or whatever it was called, Robo Battle, or if you had the Smash Kirby DLC or amiibo, the Smash Kirby amiibo, all it would do is give you the Smash Brothers Kirby moves to play through the game. Wasn't necessary for anything, didn't count towards a catalog or anything like that. It was just kind of like a fun bonus thing. That stuff's cool.
Yeah.
I think they should do more of stuff like that.
Or the Wolf Link thing in Breath of the Wild. If you want to have a wolf companion, like, he's really not necessary. He's kind of useless, but can be cool if you're interested.
He's really only useful if you actually bother to max him out, like in the Twilight Princess. So then he's got, like, all the hearts, and then you can at least be a distraction that takes forever to kill.
Or if you download the
20 heart version.
the 20 heart version from the internet.
Oh yeah, like I was gonna play fucking Twilight Princess again.
Yeah, right. And
really
upload it to an amiibo.
That's like my least favorite non-spin-off Zelda game. Like, I'm real. I refuse to say it's worse than any of the CDI games because that would be a ridiculous statement. But like, it's definitely my least favorite 3D Zelda. Could you imagine a CDI Zelda amiibo?
Oh god. It'd be like deformed.
Just for you, we're releasing the CDI Zelda games on the Nintendo Online channel so you can play them and load them up into the amiibo, and you're like, God help me, why is this a thing?
Yeah, pay an extra $25 a year and you can have CDI games.
Dude, we're giving them bad ideas because they fucking would do it.
Including the Zelda games.
Voila, we are off! My boy.
What does Link say? He's like,
Gee,
Octorok.
I wonder what Ganon's up to.
Yeah. God. Even after I said I need to go on a diet, I'm realizing I have nothing for dinner tonight, so I was thinking about ordering dinner.
Yeah.
What did you eat today?
What did I eat today? I haven't yet.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, what's the worst part?
No, I was saying, okay, so here's the thing. The voice acting in those, the CDI, not that bad. Right? Comparatively. Because I've even seen, like, professionals try to fix the voice acting on it. But the problem is, it's one of those cases where the animation is done before the voices. Right? And it's basically like trying to do a dub. And the animation is so bad that it kind of forces the voices to be bad. And even having people, like, redo it, it still ends up horrible, no matter what. They just need to reanimate the whole game.
Well, when did Mallet get here?
He's been here for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I want to say like 2 minutes ago, maybe.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No.
I haven't been ignoring him for too long.
Oi.
Well, what else is going on?
What else we got? Let's see. There's the stupid Facebook reveals meta and the metaverse. Pikmin Bloom, which you were complaining you actually have to get up and go places.
Yes.
Nintendo's having a Halloween sale. Witcher Season 2 trailer. As other things. Apparently, the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake is still in development. So many things are in development, hell. Like I said, Tomb Raider isometric games are coming to the Switch. We did talk about it, but that was also, we were going to talk in tandem, news about the Tomb Raider anime, which is probably going to be horrible. I don't even know why you could call it an anime. Like, it's Netflix. They're just calling anything they make animation an anime now. And, that's all the other things I have to talk about. What sounds most interesting to hit you up first?
I don't. Have you tried the Pikmin game?
No,
Pikmin
I
Bloom,
have not.
whatever it's called.
I have not. I haven't downloaded or anything. I don't even know what it does.
It's dumb. I don't know what they're thinking with it, because it's like, it's nothing that's interesting about Pikmin is in it. It's just plucking them out of pots and then walking around with them. And it's like, none of that is what's interesting about Pikmin.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I mean,
right, is if
they're like spaceship parts you could collect.
Well, that would be cool too. But like if location actually mattered, right, a lot. And it was so the thing with like Pokemon Go is it kind of sends you on routes because you're just looking for all of the stops and stuff and picking up Pokemon on the way. What'd be cool is if using the map, it remembered your paths and when you did things. So like you can create a garden of Pikmin in like your bedroom or something, and after a while you had to pluck them up and you had to take them with you. And there was stuff for you to bring back to wherever you set your base to be, right? So as you're going out in the day, maybe you'll bring stuff up, but then you'll notice, like, I have to go and get more Pikmin at my house, and I have to walk a mile down the road to get that thing over there and bring it all the way back with me. And then maybe, like, a bulb or something will attack you. Would it be a little tedious? Yes, but you would get the Pikmin experience, and it would actually, instead of, like, the game routing with you, the game would route you. You're actually doing a fetch quest in real life. And, you know, if you have nothing better to do, it's like, why not go on a walk to go get something and come back?
Yeah, and granted, I haven't, like, explored everything there is to do in the game. Yeah. But I don't think it's that deep, unfortunately.
It's not. I'm just saying that's how they should have made the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been cool. Like, you're carrying around, you're basically planting the Pikmin in a bowl that is basically you're carrying around with you. So it's, it would be cooler if you found them. I mean, you do find more, but you find a sprout and stuff like that, and then you have to plant it. But it would be cool if you could, like, plant them in different places. And
come back to pick them up later.
Have to pluck them from other places.
Or even worse, you plant them in somewhere, somebody else comes and picks them up on you. Right? Or you pick up somebody else's. Like, that would be the more interesting thing, too. It's like, oh, that's right. I'm playing in a game with a bunch of other people.
Yeah, and are there going to be... I don't think there's going to be gym battles like there are in Pokemon Go.
Like, the rocket ship parts would actually be cool, too. Like, your rank up. You don't actually rank up until you get, like, rocket ship parts. So then I have, like, an animation of you going up to, like, another planet. But you're still where you are. It's just, like, a level up. So, like, the first rank up, you only need one part to fix your rocket ship. And then after that, it gets more complicated, or you get longer in between the parts and stuff like that. Like, it could be a... Not too complex of a game, especially when it comes to like using the programming, like the mesh network that's already set there.
The Niantic.
Yeah. Like you could do something that's still pretty simple, but complex enough that it would hold the attention of people who actually care about Pikmin and not just people who hop onto all of these games.
Yeah, well, I'd say it's disappointing, and I don't really plan on playing it.
Yeah.
I downloaded it just to see what it was about, and it was like, oh, this kind of sucks.
And like the only thing that gets deeper is you can develop a friendship with your Pikmin, and that's it. That doesn't get any deeper than that.
Yeah, I've experimented with tossing them some what's the stuff called nectar or whatever. But it's interesting. The nectar causes their sprout or whatever to turn into a flower.
Yeah.
Right? Then when you check in with them later, it's back down to a piece of grass. I'm like, oh. So I didn't permanently level them up.
No, you just have to keep doing that. It's dumb.
Yeah, it is dumb. So, not a recommend.
I don't get the hype behind it. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, so Tomb Raider anime, right? Which I don't know why. The series is going to have actors who played major role in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which wasn't good, so I don't know why that's a selling point. The screenshot that was shown for it looks awful. Like, just really bad. It looks like modern Tomb Raider stuff. And I hate modern Tomb Raider stuff. It's nothing like the Lara Croft that I used to know. Who was a very fun character. The way she acted and treated other people. She had a nice, rich personality. In both ways. The fact that she was rich, but also that her personality was full. It's being done by Netflix, right? So again, it's not an anime. Right, it's being made almost, I think, entirely in the States. I think the animation kind of looks like it's being done by Epic. I'm not sure. I would not be surprised if what's it called? If freaking Rooster Teeth worked on this at all, because that they tend to work on everything now.
Are they calling it an anime because they gave her big eyes? I mean.
No, they're just calling all of their 3D animation too, just all of their animated series like this anime, especially like the stuff that Rooster Teeth goes off, and that's probably because people for some reason call Ruby an anime when it's not really. I guess. I guess it also is, since anime literally just means animation, but people in the West have come to known it as like Japanese animation specifically.
Okay, why is this video about it just some fat chick talking?
I have no clue.
Like, are you gonna actually show it?
Like,
what
everything about this is just like fucking ridiculous and red flags left and right.
Oh yeah, it's just a animated, like CGI animated show.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it is.
Why are they calling it anime?
And I guarantee you it's going to be the, like, personality-wise, it's just going to be the awful new Lara Croft.
Yeah. Do you consider Castlevania to be an anime?
Borderline, because they did work with a Japanese studio on a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably as much of an anime as Thundercats is, which was heavily animated by a Japanese studio. So, take that for what it is. And I mean, like, the original Thundercats, not that new shit that we were given recently. Like, I feel sorry for kids today. They don't get good shit.
Yeah, no, that's the CalArts shit.
Even the last Thundercats before that was a better show. And it had some issues of its own. But, like, if a kid was watching that, I was like, no problem. Like, yeah, that's fine. You can watch it. That's an okay show.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Zero Magazine. Oh, the Fat Chick magazine. Oh, okay. The Dillard Draws says, Fat Chicks like talking. I read that in a Fat Chick magazine. He thinks it was called Zero Magazine.
Oh, maybe he means like Oprah's magazine.
Oh, I thought that was a zero, maybe.
No, I was looking for a video about or showing something from the Tomb Raider anime.
Yeah.
And it showed one image, and then it was just this woman talking the whole time. Like, oh, okay, so you're not going to show anything.
Nope.
So,
like, I get it. 3D animation is actually cheaper than 2D animation these days, because while it has a lot of prep work, like you make all the assets before you go into rigging everything and recording, once you have those models, it's a lot easier to just rig them to skeletons throughout and like render lighting and stuff than it is to actually even digitally draw and manipulate frames over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But it looks ugly most of the time. That's the real thing. Like, ugh. Almost, I stopped watching mech animes because they just 3D render all the mechs now. Even like the people might still be 2D, but like all the mechs are 3D renders. Like, I have no interest in this whatsoever.
Yeah.
They even do it in the manga. I hate it. They'll like they'll make a 3D model of the mech, and they'll put it in space, and then they'll like flatten it with some type of like photo filter to make it look illustrated. And like, why? Like, car manga have been doing this for years for like racing and stuff, and I hated that. But like, why is it happening to mechs? Freaking Tezuka's rolling in his grave right now.
I do need to order something for dinner. I'm just starving.
It's all your mind is on. What are you thinking of having?
Yeah. Possibly a burrito from whatchamacallit? Chipotle.
Ew. Well, I mean, if you like. I've never had a good experience from Chipotle.
Really?
Yeah, and I used to eat there all the time too, because back when it first came to my area, because you know the thing, the Chipotle is like the basic bitch thing that like all the white chicks would go to, or if you have a close friend from high school who's gay, that's also kind of a basic bitch. He wants to go there as well. So we're driving around town, stopping at Chipotle, and I've tried so many different things from there, and not once in like the dozens of times I've been to Chipotle have I ever had a good experience there. And maybe it's because of the fact that I'm also in Texas, and if I want like a good burrito or any type of like Mexican Hispanic food, I could go to like some family-owned restaurant and get something that is way better, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, it's Chipotle, so everybody just wants to go to Chipotle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, have you ever just had a burrito?
I'm not a huge fan of burritos in the first place, but I'll eat them.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if I get to make it myself. That to me, that was one of like the benefits that I thought I'd get from going to Chipotle, because you kind of like, it's almost like Subway. You go down the line, you can pick what you want in your burrito, and it's the ingredient quality there is like piss poor. That's one of the big things.
The guacamole's pretty good.
Yeah, but it's hard to fuck up guacamole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, like if I want good food, there is a taqueria down the street. It's that way. There's a taqueria down the street where I can go and get freaking street tacos, but actual tacos. People just call them street tacos because they're used to fucking Taco Bell. But I can go get a freaking carnitas, the freaking pork tacos, and have a really good meal for like, I think I can pick up 6 tacos for $5, and it comes with a drink. And they're like this big. Like, yeah. No, why am I going to a place like Chipotle? I could get like real Mexican food. I live in Texas. Like, I think I've even talked to the owner, the lady who runs the counter. I think she's an immigrant too. She's like a really, really thick accent.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got family. It's like a family-owned restaurant. They're in the back making it. Great tacos. Like, it's cheaper than Chipotle too. Like, the only reason I go to fast food places is because it's fast and it's cheap. I go to this taqueria down the street, and it's like they're constantly making the food because people are constantly in and out. So all the stuff that got put in the tacos is already ready. Yeah. And it costs me nothing per taco. Right. Actually, I don't even, yeah, I think it's only $5 because of the drink, because I think it's like 50 cents a taco. And they're like, Taco Bell's like 50 cents a taco. It's like, yeah, but these are like actual thick tacos. Yeah, it's like, why do we go anywhere else? I get good food, hot, authentic. It's great. I get it if you're like up in maybe, Alabama. I don't know where the closest like authentic Mexican place is to you. Chipotle might be the best chance that you got, right?
Around here, yeah, probably.
Yeah, for me, Chipotle shit.
Yeah. I know. It was different when I lived in Austin.
Yeah.
It was lots of places I could go.
Shoot, you go down freaking 5th Street at night, you probably actually see legit street tacos, like somebody with a kiosk cooking it on a hotbed right there.
Although, frankly, there's a place like right next door that's probably pretty good, pretty authentic. I don't know if it's good, but it's probably pretty authentic. Because, I'm in the Mexican area right now, let me be honest with you.
You know what? That's kind of like the best area to be. Everything's cheap. There's good food. A lot of the people are friendly.
There's a food truck that's like permanently parked next door as well. But I don't think they're open right now, unfortunately.
Yeah. Have you tried them?
But it's all Mexican. No, I haven't. I should.
You should. You should.
It's all Mexican food. Yeah. I don't know. There's something about getting food from a food truck permanently parked at a gas station. That's
no, dude. There's a food truck that comes like the gas station right down the street from me. I'm trying to remember who owns it, but they just sell like barbecue, like ribs, and they'll even like give you corn and stuff back there. It's pretty good. It's fair price too. Really nice people. I think they actually live in the same neighborhood as me. I think I've seen their truck before.
Yeah.
That's my favorite stuff, is shit like that. Like a food truck that's just permanently parked there, or somebody's small little dive of a store. Because that's, maybe the food's bad, but rarely. Usually it's like, if you went home and their mother cooked the food that night, right? Like a home-cooked meal. It's just like good food. Usually some type of family recipe. It's like, yeah, we've been making it this way for like ever.
Yeah.
That's all my favorite shit.
Cool.
Some of my favorite food that I think I've ever had, a lot of it's not around anymore because like people die or move around. Some of my favorite food is like, you go to a local gas station and they have like that one guy who's been working at the gas station forever, and there's like an actual like stovetop in the back, and he's making the hot food that gets sold at the counter of the gas station. And it's not like at a Quick Trip or something where they have that pre-made, ready fast meals. Like this guy's actually sitting there grilling food, and you've got like charcoal dogs and stuff that get served at the local gas station. That's some of my favorite food in my life. It's like fair food almost.
Yeah.
And it's cheap. I think that's another thing too. It's like you're a poor person looking for something hot and ready to eat. You go down to the local gas station, and this dude who puts his heart into making this food gives you like a hot dog for $1. And it's like, oh.
Yeah, I used to go into, back when I was poor, I used to go into the Walmart and get like, they had pretty decent hot dogs and like chicken wings and stuff like that. They had these really good ranch wings that were awesome and really cheap. And I mean, they made them by hand. It's not like, they were good. It was good food.
Yeah.
I knew how they made them because I worked there. Just FYI.
Oh, see, if it wasn't for the fact that I usually don't eat before the show, so like I'm used to it. Like, especially days where like I'm up really late working on something. Some days I get up right before I have to get ready for the show, and I'm used to not eating until afterwards, so it's not bothering me. But man, would I be getting hungry just talking about food like this.
Yeah, we need to change the subject because I did order something, but it's probably not going to be here for like an hour and a half. So
yeah. So the Witcher Season 2 trailer dropped. I watched it.
Oh, the trailer dropped?
Yeah, the actual trailer for the next season.
I don't know if I saw that.
It's coming out on December 17th. And it looks like it's diverting from the books even more than the first one did.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, I mean, the first one was fairly close, but that's all, and it was like mixed match. But the first book, which was published after the second one, was actually more of like a collection of pulp stories that were put into magazines. So it kind of makes sense that chronologically it's all over the place, but it already kind of diverted a little bit, not too much. This one looks like it's going off to left field just a bit. And I think it's pulling a mix between stuff that's going on in the novel, in the game at the time, and also just whatever the writing team decides they want to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know how good that looks, because there's already a couple characters I didn't like in the original season, like the first season. Like, what's her face? Jen. I didn't like her. I liked her in the books. I just didn't like the actress that played her. I thought Henry Cavill did a great job as a freaking Geralt. I thought that was probably the highlight of the whole show. So it was good that they picked such a good person, but I don't know. I don't like the fact that it's just like diving off into random directions, because I don't usually trust the people working on these shows with their writing ability. That's the real thing. Like, if you got something to base off of it, sure, great. Like, you can come up with dialogue or whatever, but if you're trying to come up with your own plots, most of these people suck.
Yeah, I mean, look no further than Game of Thrones season 7 and 8.
Well, the problem was, too, they followed pretty closely to what Martin had said he was going to do, but they also had to take his notes and his ideas for the last books and compress them into even shorter timeline and figure out how they were going to handle the character arcs that they had built up, because they had already changed things to keep it more interesting. And they kind of like, I don't know, they really backed themselves into a corner. I don't blame them too much for how it ended up, but I also blame them for the fact that they kept overspending their budget and having to have shorter and shorter seasons.
Yeah.
Because Martin said himself that it's probably going to end close to the same way. when he finally gets to it. If he finally gets to it, I'm pretty sure he's gonna die before he actually finishes the series.
Yeah, really.
Especially with him taking time off to write the story for Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude,
Well, that's important.
What are you doing? Write your fucking book.
Well, I'm not gonna play. I'm looking at the trailer, but
That's fine.
I don't think watching it without any volume would really add to
Yeah,
it.
you just see visuals.
Because I don't know.
Stuff. It still looks
Yeah,
like it
I
might
don't know
be
what the
fun.
hell's going on.
Like, I'll still watch it. I watched
Yeah,
the first one. I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna hold my breath a little on this one. Really, going with
You
like,
are gonna hold your breath.
No, yeah, I am gonna hold my breath a little on this one. I hope it's good. I'm hoping it's good, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I hope so. I didn't watch. I feel like I went a long time without watching season 1.
Yeah,
Like it felt like it was out for a long time, and it just didn't look all that interesting. And I'd never played the games. I didn't know any of the characters. But then when I watched it, I thought it was good. I liked it.
Well, the thing is, it started from the beginning, so you didn't have to know anybody. No.
Yeah. But still,
Yeah.
Probably would have been more likely to just like watch it, be excited about it if I'd actually known anything about it.
I'm not sure, because I know a lot of people. Like I was kind of excited, but I know a lot of people, especially because like adaptations have been ruining everything lately. A lot of the game fans were very skeptical and pushing off watching it.
Yeah. Well, I just had no.
Yeah.
I wasn't in a hurry to watch it, but once I did, I liked it a lot. So, I don't know. I might have to rewatch season 1 because I don't remember anything about it.
I might rewatch it before the 17th if I have time. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I remember there was a lot of time jumps.
Yes,
Like
it goes back and forth a lot. It was pretty easy for me to follow because I kind of already knew what was going on before getting into it. I remember my dad talking to me, and he was having trouble until like halfway through placing when certain things happened. Like he wasn't even aware that it was jumping at a certain point.
Yeah, and then the end took place, or I mean, the end of the last episode did not take place at the end of the time that we were seeing. I don't think. It was sort of the end of the first segment of time. Whatever.
I think this next one, though, if they are kind of following the chronological order of the books, will mostly move straight forward. I don't think there's going to be as much jumping around.
Yeah. So.
And that's just
It'll be
because like,
interesting. I'll
narratively
definitely
the
watch it.
writing becomes more straightforward from here on out.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yennefer. Freaking Yen. It's a good character. Really, really good character in the books.
Yeah.
Don't like the way she was portrayed in this show, though.
Just be like, just call yourself Jennifer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense. At one point in time, that's actually probably how Jennifer was pronounced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the J used to make the Y sound for the longest time in history.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's basically all I got to say on that one.
Yep, that's all I have to say.
In fact, I
When
don't know
is
about
Ted
you.
Lasso season 3 or whatever?
When is that?
Okay.
I don't know. I was saying, I don't know about you, but there's not a lot to talk about. I was thinking of just doing maybe an early show today, like just cutting it early.
No, maybe. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm kind of running out of. I can't find anything interesting. Sorry to say.
I can't either. It's I've
that
seen
time of year.
sales, you know. That's one of the reasons why we're not doing the weekly show anymore. It's that time.
I know.
Yeah.
Just unfortunately, it's that time of year. What do you think about? Did you hear about the scandal with AT&T?
No, what scandal happened with AT&T?
Oh my gosh, they have gone full racist, like blatantly, horrifically racist. Just like Scott Adams talked about it first. He's the first one I saw talking about it. But apparently some stuff has leaked about how they're, I mean, it's beyond just sending their employees to like sensitivity class and diversity training and all that stuff. It's just like full bore. If you're white, you're evil. Like just telling their employees, like, you're evil. And then everything wrong in the world is because of you. And people are like, so I'm like, should I cancel my HBO Max subscription? Oh, wait, I don't have one. I'm using my mom's.
Yeah.
I forgot. Well, if I had an HBO Max subscription, should I cancel it? Like, people are, I mean, I don't know how many. Obviously, it's all anecdotal. But I think, a significant number of people are, like, canceling their service. Stuff like that after this all leaked out. So, isn't interesting. It's hard to figure out because they own so much shit. It's like, well, I mean, obviously anything DC Comics.
Yeah, anything Warner.
HBO. Warner, right. Anything Warner Brothers is all under AT&T. It's like, how do you decouple from that? It's such a huge company.
Yeah, it was like when
racking my
people
brain.
try to say like Disney or any of there's so many companies out there that they have so much. It's like if Nestle does something that would make you want to boycott, it's like, well, that's 1/6 of the entire food industry that you have to boycott.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I'm even wondering, like, okay, Spectrum Cable.
They probably have
who
stuff.
really owns? What's that?
Oh, so they probably have problems with that too. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Spectrum
is actually Spectrum. No, but I'm just saying, is it related to AT&T?
No, they're competitor.
Let's see, they're under Charter Communications.
Yeah, no,
so they are competitor.
They're the direct competitor to AT&T because they were Time Warner, which Time Warner had been a different company from the other Warner stuff for a long time, and then Time Warner merged with Charter, and Charter came over as the Spectrum headline.
Interesting. Yeah, because like I can't disconnect from Charter. It's literally the only option I have.
Yeah. No, they're the competitor, but they probably have problems too. Like, realistically speaking.
Well, yeah, but
yeah,
that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like what do I need? If I want to lodge my complaint, what do I need to do? I think the only thing that offhand that I can think of is that I watch HBO Max. But yeah, it's amazing. These companies are so big.
Yeah,
it's just too much.
You said anything DC, Cartoon Network. That's under Warner, which is under AT&T.
I don't watch that anyway.
Fuck Rooster Teeth, but they're under them. Crunchyroll was under them, but they're under Funimation now, which is just as bad as a company as fucking Sony.
I'm
trying to think what's still under. They've
what
so
about
much stuff.
What about video game studios?
Warner Brothers has their own studio, and that's mostly what AT&T uses.
Warner Brothers video games. Okay, Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment. Interesting.
You probably don't play almost any game by them. Like, again, they do like almost anything for DC. Sometimes they publish with NetherRealm Studios for stuff like that too.
Back for Blood.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah, like I said, they work with NetherRealm, so they usually publish their stuff. They're going to be doing that new metaverse game that we were talking about with Pattaya on Wednesday with NetherRealms, which is going to be
Cool.
it's basically WB properties.
Yeah.
Which is funny that they are using the name metaverse for their game coming out prior to frickin' Zuckerberg trying to use Meta and the metaverse for his stuff. I wonder if there's going to be a conflict there in trademarks.
Yeah, I can't see how they could like copyright that.
No,
Like,
you could
'cause it's
trademark it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess. So what you been playing lately?
What have I been playing lately? Pretty much because I'm working on pages galore. Look at all this stuff I've been working on right here. Right? This stack of pages.
Cool. I saw you've been posting stuff to your
website
site
and stuff. Yeah. Aside from working on stuff, the only thing I've had time to play is keeping up with Final Fantasy 14. I haven't played like any new games whatsoever.
Yeah.
But you know what?
By the way,
I've been enjoying it.
I bet.
Yeah.
I beat Metroid Fusion last night. Finally.
Nice. I saw you went live.
Yeah, finally. You know, I wish that I had tried harder because I could have totally beaten it before Dread came out. It only took me another like 2.5 hours, and I'd beaten it.
Yeah.
And man, I beat it in a total of 4 hours and 20 minutes. So close. 20 minutes faster, and I would have gotten the better ending.
No. See, you got the best ending. You beat it in 4 hours and 20 minutes. Blaze it.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did. I beat it in exactly 4 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I did it sober. It's funny, that game, man, if people think Dread is hard, I don't know. I mean, Fusion has its difficult aspects, but like, honestly, it's not that hard to get good at it. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I had trouble. I mean, so I got killed by several of the bosses the first time, but for the most part, it only took me a second try.
Well,
and I found a way to beat
like
them.
a weird, almost anti-difficulty curve, where the game starts off harder than it ends. And part of that's because of the fusion suit and the things. But even though they give you harder enemies at the end, by the time you get there, you already have better suits and you've gotten better at the game. So it's kind of like this weird anti-difficulty curve where it's like, oh yeah, I can handle this stuff by the time I get there.
I mean, a lot of Metroids do that. I think most of them do because you got all these energy tanks by the end.
Well,
you got the gravity suit.
I think the original Metroid has a pretty stable difficulty curve. Like it's not a curve; it's just like a freaking what's it called? A slope. It's got just a normal difficulty slope.
Well, the difficulty scales with you as you get stronger. But yeah, I did find it's funny because I had stopped at Nightmare because the previous time I had played, I'm sure I had already played for like 2.5 hours, so I was kind of getting tired. But also, I got beat by Nightmare, and so I was like, I don't really want to try it again right now. So I came back to it last night, and I beat him on the first try. I was like, oh, that wasn't that hard. And then whatever the next boss was, I think killed me the first time, and then I beat it the second try. It was like so it's funny because I was saying earlier that like, oh yeah, if you think Dread is hard, these people should try Fusion because there are some difficult boss fights. But honestly, after playing through it, it's quite a bit easier than Dread. It's actually...
No, I think they should try playing Zero Mission.
Yeah, Zero Mission was tough.
Yeah.
Especially at the end.
I wouldn't even... Like, it doesn't even have like a straight, like a slope or a curve. because they've got so many different sections, including like the opening section, right? That it's like it's just different types of difficulty at different parts of the game.
Yeah. You know what I realized? In fact, a couple days ago, I was watching a playthrough of Zero Mission, like just the ending.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see how someone did the stealth ending quickly. And when I did the stealth part, I completely forgot that I had a weapon.
Yeah.
Because I remember playing through that and I was having the toughest time. But then I watched someone else do it and I was like, oh yeah, you can freeze the enemies. I forgot about that.
So
I didn't use it at all.
In freaking Smash Brothers, she has the stun gun.
Yeah. Well, I managed to get through it like without using it ever somehow.
That's fine.
I don't know how I did it, but yeah, I was like, oh shit, I forgot you had that thing.
It reminds
I knew
me,
it didn't kill them, but
I used to play Contra Golf with people, which is a fun thing to do. It's like you play the original Contra, and you count how many times you fire your weapon, and the person who has the lowest number by the end wins. But you also have to finish. You can't just like die, right?
Yeah.
So, the first stage is pretty easy because you can like go down, right? You can fall with the bridge and then swim, and that stops you from having to shoot so many guys. And there's certain sections where you can just jump all over. You could go the entire first stage up until the boss at the end of it that you have to shoot to open the gate without firing your gun once. But it gets harder and harder to not fire your gun the longer and longer you go through Contra. And that was always a fun thing to do, is to play Contra Golf. I think one time I went through only firing my gun like 230 times.
Wow.
Yeah. Which, if anybody's played Contra, that's a pretty low number.
Yeah. Well, I can attest to the fact that you can make it through the stealth portion of Zero Mission without firing a shot.
Yeah.
It's possible, but it's hard. At least until you get to like the final, that boss part, you have to shoot that thing.
Yeah.
To get your suit back, and then I was firing at everything, just going nuts,
going crazy.
So yeah, Flit does make a good point. No need to boycott if you're already just steal. I mean, fairly redistribute content.
Well, you know me, I don't purchase from any of these people. I haven't for years. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Maybe if they make something good and it's worth going to the theaters, I'll go and see something in the theaters. Like, I think the last thing I saw in the theaters though was Godzilla vs. Kong, right? And then the last thing I saw before that was Doolittle with a group of people. So, yeah, I know, like, the theater's been closed for a while, but here, ours opened back up early, so Kong wasn't, like, the first thing that was available. And then even before Doolittle, I think it was, like, a year before I saw something there. I don't watch movies all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you know...
Can you guess who the distributor was of the Dune movie, the new Dune movie?
Well, the fact that it was on HBO Max, I can guess who the distributor was.
Yeah, it was Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
It's funny.
And you went out to see that, right?
I went to see it in the theater. Yeah. I gave AT&T my money, damn it. Even though I had it over here.
Yeah.
Oh, well. I like to think I gave the movie theater my money.
Yes, but the movie theater has to give part of its ticket sales back to AT&T.
Yeah. Oh, well. It was a decent movie.
What you do is you go in and you buy a lot of snacks to support the theater directly, and then in between shows, you just walk in with your snack. After the movie already starts, and be like, yeah, just refilling my popcorn. Most of the time, they don't even check your ticket stub. And you just walk in and watch the movie.
Yeah.
That way you support the theater, but you don't support AT&T. I've watched so many free movies that way.
Oh, yeah. So here's a question for you. Should I don't know if I'm going to have trick-or-treaters tomorrow. Do you have trick-or-treaters where you are?
There's kids in the neighborhood. Occasionally somebody comes by, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll keep like a bowl, and I think maybe 5 people will come by through the night. Most of the neighborhood's aged and grown up. There's not a lot of kids around here. They'll go like off to some other neighborhood to trick or treat, the few that are. So like 5 kids will come by, they'll take it, and then we'll just be picking out of the candy bowl for the next year.
Yeah, really. Yeah. So the question is, I don't have any candy. Should I go to the store tomorrow, pick up candy?
Maybe.
I guess I should.
Yeah, just small bowls worth. You'll probably be fine, because then you got something sweet.
Yeah.
Snack on. Just have self-restraint. Eat it like once a week, because the candy's not going to go bad that fast, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
If it's in the house, it's gonna disappear.
Donate it to some kids. Anything left over, go give it to your kids. I don't know how much sugar you allow them to have.
I think if I sent it to my kids, my ex-wife would have
a fit.
Something to say about that. Well, I'm sure. No, I mean it's Halloween. They're gonna get plenty of candy. I'm sure they're gonna go trick or treat.
It's not like this is something you do on the regular where they just get too much sugar.
Yeah, no.
It's like, hey,
anyway,
not enough people showed up. Here's some bonus candy for your Halloween.
Yeah, right. No, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I would do with extra candy. I guess I'd probably just keep it here and gradually eat it.
I know when I was a kid in this neighborhood, there was tons of trick-or-treaters. But I was like the median age for my neighborhood at the time when it came to like non-adults. So that made sense. As I got older, there was less and less trick-or-treaters, and eventually it's like hardly anybody ever comes by.
Yeah, at my old apartment in Arizona, I never got a single knock at the door.
Well, I don't think anybody wants to go to an apartment anyway.
Yeah, I guess not.
Though you'd think that'd be the easy way to do it. But then you get like these like corner clusters of like 4 apartments right here, and everybody's like, just give us all the candy at the same time. You know we're all right here.
Yeah, it's just as well. I don't think I ever had any candy. But...
Yeah. So
do you like watching scary movies around this time?
If there's anything good watching, yeah. A lot of times I like to watch funny movies around this time, like things that are comedically Halloween related.
Like Nightmare Before Christmas.
That's kind of comedic. It's more dramatic in a kid-friendly way than anything, but it's got some comedy to it. More of like The Addams Family, which is funny. You could just watch Nightmare Before Christmas and The Addams Family back-to-back on loop forever, because The Addams Family starts on Christmas and ends on Halloween, and The Nightmare Before Christmas starts on Halloween and ends on Christmas.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a new paranormal activity called Next of Kin that is out on
I have to pee.
What's that?
So you talk about that. I have to use the restroom.
Okay. I was just wasting time. Apparently, it comes out. They came out yesterday, the 29th, exclusively on Paramount Plus. My question is, can I get Paramount Plus for free? Because I like the Paranormal Activities movies. Oh, you can. You can get it for free for 1 week. That is just long enough to watch a movie and then cancel it. Sweet. Well, when Metal comes back, I think we're planning on wrapping it up at 8 o'clock. I don't know if he was planning on wrapping it up at 7:30, but I figured we'd at least go until 8 o'clock. So before he gets back, I don't know if Flit or John or Mallet or anybody else is watching, but thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate you. Viewership. It's always fun to have people chatting with us. I'm not real big on... Well, I watch scary movies all year round. I'm not just I don't just only watch them around Halloween time. But I am interested in this Paranormal Activities movie. I was saying it's available on Paramount Plus, which you can get a 1-week free trial. Watch the movie and then cancel it.
I've seen the original Paranormal Activity. That's it.
Oh, you haven't seen any of the others?
Yeah. Now, I know a lot of them are so disconnected from each other. It's like an anthology series that, like, you don't really have to watch them to get any of them. I could probably watch this one without having seen 2 through 6.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, definitely. And it's funny, they're... Sorry.
Your food?
I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry
and I like anthology series because of that. I like not having to be caught up on everything and getting to jump in. Is one of the things I liked about the American Horror Story series is sure they might have like connections in between, but they're all just like one-off series for the main characters. It's like a troupe of actors that just play the same like different roles each time. And that was always cool. I think there'd be more and more anthology series out there because you could just jump into the middle.
Sorry about that. It made it look like my food is here, but it made it look like they were holding it like outside waiting for me to come out, but they weren't. Anyway,
looked like you
I would say
like a Pac-Man. You went off one way and came back the other.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say the Paranormal Activities movies are kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Some are better than others, and it's not like they get worse and worse and worse, or better and better, or anything like that. It's just they're all over the place.
Yeah.
Some are terrible, and some are decent. And there's 6 of them, well 7 now.
Well, actually, the thing I was comparing it to is like I feel the same way for American Horror Story, which is also like an anthology series where you don't really need to watch any season other than the one you're currently watching. But like it's kind of just all over the place on whether the season's good or not. And that's a good thing about anthologies, though. You don't have to like every bit of it. You could just jump into a random thing. You might like that part. You might like another.
Yeah.
I kind of wish Halloween had been an anthology like it was originally supposed to, because personally my favorite Halloween is Season of the Witch, and I was hoping for another random story after that one, but no, people complained and we went back to Michael Myers.
Oh, what was that about? That was something completely different?
Yeah, so Season of the Witch was not about Myers at all. It was about witches.
No.
Yeah.
Hence the name.
Yeah. Because it was originally... So, the sequel was a follow-up, but, you know, you can have that in anthology. Originally, Halloween was supposed to be an anthology series that just told, like, horror stories around the holiday of Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people didn't like the third one for some reason, even though I think script, performance, and directing, that is the best of the entire franchise. And maybe we could have had more interesting if it was still an anthology.
Were the first 2 involving Michael Myers?
Yeah, the first 2.
Yeah. See, that's their problem.
They should have done a like the Return of Michael Myers. If you're gonna do that in a anthology, that should come like way later after you've already done a couple other stories.
Yeah, you've already set expectations. This is the main character of this series, so they should have gone to something completely different on on the first sequel.
The sequel should have been Season of the Witch.
Yeah, there you go. That would have set expectations properly. Go until 8 o'clock.
Yeah, we could do that. Like it's a pretty good time to stop, especially because like the internet connection is successful. Time to close out the show before it gets completely haywire. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy the show, please share it with somebody else who may like it. I don't know. And if you really enjoy the show, consider giving a donation to streamlabs.com/vomitorium live. It helps pay for our monthly hosting fees. And we'll see you guys next time. Have a happy Halloween.
Bye. Have a good one.